the human leaves the ruins with Flowey in tow. I always hated this place. It causes my petals to wilt. Worst of all, that smiley trash bag. Oh, who's that? Not important. We should keep moving. After walking on the path for a little bit, the human encounters a weird-looking gate thing, and suddenly, Flowey pops into the ground. Human! Don't you know it's rude to face away from a new pal? After this, the player will turn around, revealing that it was actually Sans. Sans now looks quite different. He now has a peg leg, since his foot needed a vacation, and the other apparel he has consists of a new banana-flavored jacket and an eye patch. The interaction is mostly the same, except for the handshake joke, which is instead his hand covered in ketchup. Sans directs the humans behind the lamp, but since they are taller than it, they have to crouch down. Enter Papyrus. Sans! Who is that behind the lamp? Papyrus now has an extra set of arms and an upgraded battle body. This interaction is also basically the same, except Sans and Papyrus don't exchange any jokes or puns. When Papyrus leaves, Sans tells the human that they are safe now, but before he leaves the human with this ominous message. Hey kid, I have no problem with you, but heed this warning. Stay away from yellow flowers. Flowey pops up out of the ground and comments on it being cold, and that they should start moving. The player can make the choice to ask about golden flowers, and Flowey nervously shrugs it off, saying, I'm blue, silly, so I wouldn't know anything about that. A prompt at the top of the screen states that Frisk will remember that, to which the human will respond, my name's not Frisk, it's... before being cut off by Flowey, saying that they should really get going. The human obliges Flowey, and in the next room, Snowdin can be seen standing next to the box. When the party approaches, Snowdin initiates dialogue, saying, Hey, you're a human, right? The player will get 4 options, yes, no, maybe, and I'm something worse. The first 3 options result in Snowdin asking if the human can escort him through the Snowdin forest, due to an ongoing Snowball war. The 4th option results in Snowdin starting to sweat profusely, and more nervously asks the same question. Before the human can answer, Flowey butts in and says yes. Snowdin will then join the party. After recruiting Snowdin, the player can open the box, which still contains the Tough Club, and the room above it will have the fishing pole. If interacted with, there's a phone number attached to the end of the hook with 3G taped onto it. The human can take the gold, but decides not to take the number. The human's first encounter with Papyrus goes similar to that of Frisk. Papyrus has decided that another human gets to go through his now newly revamped puzzle gauntlet. Possible encounters in this area consist of Lesser Dog, who looks a lot mangier than normal and now wields boxing gloves rather than a sword and shield. Sparing Lesser Dog can be done by the same method, which will end in him looking like this. Jerry now wields a knife and will do a single slash attack during his attack phase. The most interesting thing is that ice caps have been split into 2 factions, red and blue. If 2 ice caps are encountered of different colors, they will throw snowballs at each other, and if the player fails to spare them after 3 turns, the ice caps will knock each other unconscious and the player will gain no EXP or G. If they are of the same color, the snowball fight will focus on the party instead. The only way to spare any ice caps is to talk them down from fighting. If Jerry is encountered with ice caps, no matter their team color, they will both immediately leave. There is also a rare encounter in which the elusive Doge will attack the party. Doge starts off the battle shocked that a human has finally fallen down again, and that she had missed the last one. She claims that she has always wanted to capture a human so she could get promoted to the head of the Royal Guard. After this, the player will have to dodge a flurry of spear attacks before the battle can truly start. To spare Doge, the player must offer to give her a walk, which she initially ignores. Doge seems like she's about to cave in, but she throws a collar around the soul, changing its color to orange, which makes the soul move constantly around the battle box. The human must interact with 5 green branches during the walk attack to escape the leash and turn it back on Doge. The player could then throw the leash onto Doge and then do the walk attack one more time to spare her. After the battle, Doge will be very excited and thank the human, calling them nice, and will run off. The cardboard sentry station is now collapsed due to the excess snow weighing down on it. In the next room, Doggo seems like he will attack like normal, but during his initial speech, he states that he can only see moving things and that his nose isn't as good as it used to be. Doggo then asks the player if they're a human. If the player says yes, the Doggo attacks and the battle plays out like normal. But if the human says no, then Doggo says, "Oh, do you want to buy some dog biscuits?" This opens up a shop in which the player can buy dog biscuits, which each heal for 15 HP and increase the user's attack by a small amount, and the Lesser Shield, which is an armor that provides 5 defense. The shield may also be used as a battle item, and it provides a 1-hit shield until the soul is hit when consumed. The shop will also be opened after the battle if Doggo is spared. Doggo will not accept the player selling anything, and can be talked to about the last human who fell down, the Kanan unit as a whole, and even Doge. Doggo can also be asked about why his shop is in monochrome, and he'll explain it's due to the gramophone he is playing, which is playing a frequency that only dogs can hear. The side effect for humans is that they can only see in black and white. When asked to elaborate, he just says it's science. After this encounter, a new enemy can spawn, appearing as a friendly presence in the overworld. Mint will surprise attack the party with mint-flavored bite attacks. To the north of the ice room, the player can find the snowman. When talked to, the snowman says that the last human who came through made his dream of traveling to underground come true. The snowman will let the human take a piece of him as a souvenir. If talked to again, he mentions that Sans will sometimes stop by to rebuild him when punks kick him over. The invisible electricity maze starts off similarly, but Papyrus walks around the maze this time. The player can either attempt the maze, each shock dealing 1 damage, or they can just walk around the same path Papyrus did. Papyrus will be happy if the puzzle is solved, and annoyed if the player cheeses the puzzle. Sans will ask him why he didn't just put the shock orb on the other side if the player cheeses the puzzle, causing him to leave the room. The nice cream guy is not where he normally is, with a sign in his place saying how he's now working out of the MTT resort. The ballgame room is now a fighting ground of the ice crap snowball fight. The players must dodge snowballs in the overworld while going from snowport to snowport, capturing them to slow down the snowball fight. This snowball fight is also the only time that Gift Trot can be encountered, since it has been conscripted to haul snowballs. The Dogi sentry stations are a bit worn down, but they still retain their smell index. The word search is replaced by Junior Jumble, which the player can actually solve. If the player solves the puzzle, then Papyrus will comment on the human's skill in word games. If the human avoids the puzzle, then Sans will comment on the daily crossword being better. Papyrus defends Junior Jumble, stating, "Why don't you appreciate the fine art of Junior Jumble, Sans?" The spaghetti room is similar to its normal form, except the spaghetti is in the microwave, to which the player can heat it up, which grants the player the partially frozen spaghetti, which heals 20 HP. The next room is another ice cap war zone, which works similarly to the first one. The Dogami and Doggeressa encounter is vastly different from the normal fight. Sparing them consists of the human providing marriage counseling, as they are considering a divorce. The first X and O puzzle is the same, and if the human has the partially frozen spaghetti in their inventory, Papyrus will be happy. The second X and O puzzle is the same. The colored tile puzzle actually works how it's intended, which makes the puzzle harder, which is similar to the one in Hotland. In the dog sculpture room, the human has to fight a new mini-boss, Fawn. She wields a knife due to the ongoing Snowball War. Her knife attack is faster than Jerry, and she strikes more than once. To spare her, the player must convince her that they are not an ice cap spy trying to recruit her. After the battle, Fawn will comment about how most of the dog sculptures have been destroyed to make snowballs for the ongoing snowball fight. The final X and O puzzle is the same, but Papyrus' sculpture now has 2 extra buff arms in it. The final Snowball War Zone is in the Snowpoff room, to which the green ice caps debut. Each team only has 1 fort, so it's not that time consuming. After the battle, the entire room will shake, causing the ice caps to scatter in fear as the Greater Dog enters the screen. The fight with Greater Dog is much harder. The soundtrack is now Dog Song 2, which is Dog Song, but 10% faster. The goal of the fight is the same as in Undertale, but Greater Dog's attacks are much wilder, consisting of spear barrages, ire dogs, and even kicking up snow. After the battle, Greater Dog will return to a docile state and let you pass. The secret door to the south is still locked, and if the player waits for a few minutes inside that room, an encounter will begin simply stating, "But nobody came." The human, Flowey, and Snowdrake approach Snowdin, and suddenly, Snowdrake's father runs up and asks where Snowdrake has been, and Snowdrake tells him that he got stuck on the other side, thanking the player and Flowey for their help, and then walks off with his father. The Snowdin shop no longer sells the Tough Glove, but still sells the Manly Bandana, the Bicycle, and the Cinnamon Bun. The Tough Glove is replaced with the Broken Snowsy, which is described as a destroyed snowball minigun that was used early on in the Snowball War. It cannot be equipped. QC's dialogue is mostly the same, but she has options to talk about the human and the Snowball War. If asked about the human, she'll say that they were such a nice kid and it's a tragedy what happened to them. QC describes the Snowball War as starting off as a harmless snowball fight, which turned ugly after a mysterious benefactor gifted them advanced snow weaponry. If asked about this mysterious benefactor, QC explains that not much is known about them, and about all anyone has seen was a tall figure with a pompadour. The end is mostly the same, but the bunny child behind the counter is older, playing a console with earbuds connected to it. The innkeeper herself will also comment on how visitors and townsfolk alike have been moving out of Snowdin. The rabbit kid in the city square is going through an emo phase, dyeing all of his hair purple, wanting to start a goth club. The player can ask to join the goth club, which makes them look much edgier. This cannot be changed until later. The bunny girl is sad about her little brother being too old for walkies, similar to her Deltarune counterpart. If you have talked to the bunny kid already, you can also tell her about the goth club, to which he says she'll consider joining. Gift Bear is in the same spot, but he says that Gift Trot has been forcibly conscripted into the Snowball War, so he does not know when he will be back to get his presents. Politics Bear is now the mayor of Snowdin, and he laments the current Snowball War going on. If interacted with again, he comments that he just got news from his earpiece that the war is over, and happily states that he'll get to write up the terms for the 3 groups' surrender. Scarf Mouse comments on the Snowball War and how stupid all the hubbub is about it, saying especially ever since that fish lady took over a large swath of waterfowl, people are getting scared by the littlest things. The Nakarat Jester is still smiling, and he comments on how his cousin recently visited him, which makes him happy that he still remembers him. In the northern part of Snowdin, the only NPC that can be found is the Ice Wolf, who is doing his job. The Library has been converted into the newspaper's HQ. The Librarian Lizard and Library Lux are no longer there. Scarf Lady sits at a table with a corkboard behind her. When interacting with the corkboard, it states, "The red threads connect various ice caps with a mysterious monster with a pompadour in the center." Lady Garf has various newspaper puzzle types all around her office. When interacted with, they state, "These puzzles are clipped out from old human newspapers." Grillby's is mostly the same interior-wise. The dogs are now playing blackjack with a table for it conveniently in the bottom left corner. When Doggo, who is the dealer, is interacted with, he says that he stopped playing poker after Greater Dog cleanly swept them in 9 games in a row. Doge will also be at the table if she is encountered. She complains about how the other dogs give her weird looks when she asks for walkies during breaks from the game. Greater Dog simply makes a sad bork when interacted with. Big Mouth comments on how food has been getting scarce, and how Grillby's has been getting weird food imported from Hotland. The Drunk Bunny comments on how there are no more hot guys left in Snowdin, so that she had to broaden her dating preferences. The Ugly Fish comments on how he doesn't need that old fishing rod in Snowdin Forest, but he hasn't been out there due to the ongoing Snowball War. He also says his life has been vastly improved. The Punk Hamster states that Snowdin's culture is getting erased due to many people moving away. The Redbird comments on how Grillby's has been pretty stoic lately, so he hasn't been able to translate anything. He also explains why Sans looks the way he does. One night at Grillby's, Sans drank too much ketchup, fell unconscious, spilling ketchup all over his old jacket, and the other bar patrons played a prank on the elusive prank skeleton himself by giving him an eye patch to match his peg leg, with a permanent marker, of course. When the human approaches Papyrus' battle arena, Papyrus will speak about how the human has bested him at his improved puzzles, and that they are being nice. Too nice, even. Papyrus then elects to battle the party to see if their signs of friendship are deceit or the truth. The fight with Papyrus, like most others so far, is harder than the base game, but the spin mechanics are still the same. There are many improved variants of existing attacks, such as, the bone on a skateboard now wields a chain gun that shoots at the soul instead of just riding by. The bone text reads, "Bad dude." He now features a platform attack similar to Sans. Once the player spares Papyrus or gets defeated 3 times, he will end the fight. The human can then date Papyrus, which goes the same way as normal, with some changes to the dialogue and the dating UI. For instance, when Papyrus is talking about his pirate flag, when he mentions how Undyne got it from the bay, it is bolded. The date UI now has a speedrun split counter of Frisk's date with Papyrus, where the player can achieve red, green, and gold splits depending on how fast they date. After this, when the party approaches Waterfall, a fake end of demo screen appears, with a J key appearing a few seconds later, and the game continues on. Hey everyone, I just wanted to thank you for watching. This is a part 2 of a series I'm working on with friends and stuff, so I'm glad you enjoyed it, if you did. One thing I guess I'd suggest is share this around if you liked it, because the more traction I get, the more motivation I have to work on the next episode. I plan on releasing the soundtrack at some point in the next month or so I'll probably be slowly trickling it out. I just need to talk with my friend Jumbo on that since he worked on some of the music as well. But otherwise, hopefully you have a good day. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, help me in the algorithm a little bit. Yeah, that's about it. Unscripted part of the video over. Have a good day.